And just like that, we are back on your screens once again to do it all again for our 4th year. 4 years on YouTube. Wow, can't believe it. Coming into the 2020 season, only a matter of weeks away. Really, really can't wait. I know we are itching to get back into Formula 1. Really, really am excited for the car launches, for pre-season testing, and of course for the big one in Melbourne to start off F1 in 2020. But before we jump any further, we're gonna have like a little bit of an introduction. So, hello, my name is Jordan. On the other end of the screen is Lyle. Lyle, give us a wave. Thank you very much. Thanks for that wave. We are obviously from the F1 Debate Show YouTube channel. If this is the first time you've came across us, please stick around. See what we got to come up in 2020 as well. Go and follow us on Twitter as well. Links to our social medias will be in the description below. You know, and yeah, if you're new, if you did subscribe over the winter where we weren't uploading as much, because there is nothing to talk about. We were trying to get a bit of content here and there, but F1 Debate Show is officially back. So yeah, hope you do enjoy it, and let's get cracking with it. So of course, as you can see by the title, and to join in on the prediction bandwagon, we're going to be doing our 2020 F1 driver predictions. Now, how this is going to work? Well, basically on the right hand side of on the left hand side of your screen, on the right hand side of us, will be a table following our progress about our predictions. Of course, me and Lyle will be going from 20th to 16th, 15th to 11th, 10th to 5th, and then 4th. Sorry, 10th to 6th, and then 5th to 1st. We do this every single year. One of my favourite videos to make. It's so unpredictable, so back and forth. It's just like, yeah, it's just, I love making prediction videos. I really, really do. And of course, let us know your predictions. Who you're going for, who's going to fit, who's your world champion, who's your bottom 3, who's your top 3. Let me know in the comment section below. And at the end of the video, we will be doing our bold prediction. Yes, bold prediction for 2020. And of course, you guys got in touch with us to tell us your bold predictions, and we'll also be reading them out at the end of the episode. So, waste not, want not, let's jump straight into it. And my prediction from 20th to 16th place goes as this. In 20th place, I've gone with Nicholas Latifi. 19th place, I've gone with George Russell. 18th place, Romain Grosjean. 17th place, Lance Stroll. And in 16th place, Daniel Kvyat.
Right, well, mine, no surprise, I'm going to say, as my first thing on the show, no surprise, unfortunately, is Nicholas Latifi in 20th position. 19th position, I've gone with Kevin Magnussen. 18th position, I've gone with George Russell. 17th position, I've gone with Romain Grosjean. And 16th, I've gone with Kimi Räikkönen.
Oh, some ones to talk about there, Lyle. But before we jump into Lyle, let's talk about my predictions, my first 5 of my predictions. No surprise as to who I'm putting in last and second off last, the Williams drivers. Nicholas Latifi, debut season in Formula 1, only new driver coming in, let's say the only rookie, of course, on the grid. He's alright. He's not like the best and next exciting up-and-coming talent. Of course he's not. One of the main reasons, of course, he signed for Williams is down to his big financial backing he's got bringing into the team. Williams need that. And George Russell as well. George Russell had an alright debut season. Well, in fact, a really good debut season, despite the car he had out qualifying his teammate Robert Kubica, his much experienced teammate Robert Kubica, 21-0, absolutely incredible in qualifying. Shame Robert Kubica was the only driver to get the point for Williams. Oh, that must have been really annoying for George Russell. Williams as a whole, I'm not expecting much development. Definitely one eye will be on 2021. A lot of people are saying this, and I'm not expecting. I'm expecting a little bit of progress, but how big of a jump will Williams make? I can't see it being as far as challenging the midfield or anything like that. They might have a couple of races where they are in the mix, but realistically, I can't see them being as bad as 2019. But I can't see them improving significantly this season neither. So I'm a bit of an average season. It's not really a very exciting prediction, let's say. In 18th place, I've gone with Romain Grosjean. Now, sorry Dan, if you are watching this, I have put Grosjean quite low down. He put Grosjean quite high up. No surprise there. 13th place, I think he did. I mean, Haas struggled in 2019, didn't they? They had a really, really poor season. 2020, yes, I'm expecting some improvement, without a shadow of a doubt. A lot of lessons to be learned from 2019. However, Grosjean, will he improve? I really, really doubt it, I must say. I could be wrong. Could be proven wrong completely. Can't see it. I really, really can't see it. I'm very surprised he's still here in 2020, I must admit. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are as well. I'm not expecting much from Roman Grosjean. Nothing much more to say on that. Same with Lance Stroll. Stroll had a quiet debut season for Racing Point, didn't there? Racing Point, what had happened in 2018, going through that transition of team name, being so far behind on development because of administration, change of ownership, what's going on with the future of the team. So 2019 was of course going to be a quiet year. I'm expecting good things from 2020. I'm expecting good things from Lance Stroll. No. I know a lot of people might be annoyed with this, but I'm not expecting Stroll to exactly set the world on fire, really. He needs to improve on his qualifying, definitely, because on the start of a Grand Prix, I think he made more positions on the opening lap, more than any other driver in 2019, which is so impressive. It's just that his qualifying let him down. And of course on his race pace, he dropped off the pace here and there, but ultimately, it was okay. It's just his qualifying needs to improve on. However, his qualifying, it might be a bit better, but I can't see his racecraft improving any time soon. But of course, he will be there for 2021. Trust me. Nah, I don't know about that one. In the 16th place, I've gone with Daniel Kvyat. Now, AlphaTauri. We need to start calling Toro Rosso, formerly Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri. That's something we need to get used to, guys, because there's going to be a lot of mistakes. Let's put it out there now. There's going to be quite a lot of mistakes. Daniel Kvyat had a really, really impressive season back into Formula 1. Got that incredible podium at Germany. Well deserved. Let's end it there. Solid driver, of course. Exactly, a bit like the other drivers I've mentioned. No one exactly to be excited about, but certainly, there is going to be a lot of challenge in the midfield, and I think, Daniel Kvyat knew that he had to improve to really keep his seat atop, and he said it, AlphaTauri. Will it be any better this season? I think it will be all right. I think he'll have a good season. I just think that with the fight in the midfield going to be so strong, I just think AlphaTauri might be a bit behind, or Daniel Kvyat might not improve, or be as good as what he was. But nevertheless, nothing against Daniel Kvyat. I think he really is. He is a good, solid driver. I just think that maybe this season could be a bit, just not as good as 2019. So that's my first five. Lyle, explain yours. What's going on with that?
Well, obviously, like yours, Jordan, there's no... I mean, Nicholas Latifi in 20th, to be honest,
shock horror.
If you weren't thinking that, guys, then yeah, what was going on? Obviously, 20th position for him. £30 million. Now, that's how you start Nicholas Latifi. That's what he's bringing at the team. It's Piers drive. We have had a few drives like that. Like, for example, Nicholas Latifi. He is Latifi. Like Lance Stroll, sorry. Kubica, he paid for C, for example, last year. Obviously, he's bringing almost double what Kubica did. And, I mean, that's the thing, Piers drive, we don't know what he's going to do. And obviously, he did well in Formula 2, the first half of the season in Formula 2 in 2019. Really dominant. But, we just don't know what he's going to do. And I think that's just an easy way of seeing it. Very much like what we did for Alexander Albon last year when he was at Toro Rosso. By the way, Alex, if you are watching this, obviously at the Red Bull Motorhome, we apologise for putting you in 20th last year.
Sorry.
But you've got to admit that, a driver who we didn't know anything about, we put 20th, fair enough. We put Nicholas here, we do know about him, Formula 2 driver, really, really strong. But we don't really know what he's going to do about that. Maybe taking number 6 is a bit of a, not very good, kind of to set his career on alight. But yeah, just don't really know. And bringing money, pay-as-you-go drivers normally haven't, done very well, apart from maybe Lance Stroll, but he still has a lot to prove. But yeah, 20th for Nicholas Latifi, not much to say about that. K-Mag in 19th. Now, he's always, right, firstly, I'm saying I don't think Haas are going to do very well this season. They've been on the down low, really, I would say, since 2017, really. 2016, amazing season. 2017, then all of a sudden they just kind of started dropping results, and the drivers maybe were slipping down a little bit. It was Grosjean for the past 2 years. And again, as Jordan said, Grosjean was on his way out. In the summer, he started sharing, Instagram. He started doing like this Facebook thing where every single day he was going to share pictures of what he used to be like.
Yeah.
And Magnussen was always put on this pedestal at Haas, but I feel like now the tables are going to turn. And in my opinion, I feel like they're going to have not a very good team. So Magnussen in 19th position, I didn't want to put Williams, 19th and 20th. I just feel like if Haas are going to bottom out, it's going to be K-Mag who's going to be the worst driver, and Grosjean's going to come out ahead. 18th position is George Russell. Now, rookie, Formula 2 World Champion, GP2 World Champion as he did in 2018. Great driver. And last year, he fought tooth and nail behind the scenes to get what he could out of that car. Unfortunately, it was nothing, but he gave everything. And for being a British driver, we might be a little bit biased, or I might be putting him in this position, because this is a very high position for him, by the way, guys. This is like me saying he's going to, dominate, because 18th for a Williams is crazy. He's fought tooth and nail in that car last year. It was terrible. He was beating George. He is George Russell. He was beating Robert Kubica. Obviously, on paper, like in football, the only thing that matters is goals. So unfortunately, Kubica did win, but he did beat him in like possession and stuff. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, or someone outside looking in. But to a Formula One person like us and you guys as fans, it matters because we know how much George Russell, put. I think it was 21-0 in qualifying. So, or 21-0, I think, also in the race as well, or something like that. So, we know how much he gave, and I just feel like this year he's going to get everything he can out of that car. He is going to hit lucky a little bit. Also, he is battling Latifi, who I've just said there, don't really have anything really to say about him. We know, obviously, what George Russell can do, an ex-Mercedes driver as well. So I feel like a good 18th position for him is good. I mean, I don't know how many points that'll be. Probably will be some points on the board, especially if you're beating K-Mag. But I do feel like he's going to get a strong season out of it. Everything he can out of the car and more. He is a great driver, George Russell. But the thing is with him is he's proven that, you have to wait and you have to earn what you have. Verstappen and Leclerc, they don't know how lucky they have at the front. Getting to that position at early ages. Russell is fighting for all he has. He knows that this is like his season to prove in a car that is not very good. But yeah, he's going to get the most, and obviously 18th for him. 17th, Roman Grosjean, teammate of K-Mag. Like I've just said, I feel like he's going to get better. He's going to beat K-Mag. He's going to be a better driver. Again, if Haas are going to struggle like that, because he can't put teammates like that far apart from each other in the championship. So if Haas are going to fail, then obviously that's a good, 2 positions over him, 1 position even, sorry. So, I'd say that was good to beat K-Mag. And then obviously 16th position, Kimi Räikkönen, obviously man who went from Ferrari to Alfa Romeo, had a really good season, and I had more appreciation for Räikkönen then because, yes, he'd gone, I think it was 116 races without a win, obviously between his Lotus Renault days and obviously Ferrari when he won in Austin in the USA in 2018. So he was a bit of like I wasn't sure about Kimi Räikkönen, but last year, loved him. Absolutely thought he was amazing. I loved how humble he was about the experience, and he had very little pressure, and that's what drove him to do a good season. I do think that's going to be good. Alfa Romeo, good progressive team. Kimi though, for a guy of his age, now touching 40s, and obviously how long he's been in Formula 1 world champion, someone who again, probably less pressure than he had last year. I think that's a good position for him though. Again, I think with Kimi, to finish 16th, he wouldn't think that was too bad, and obviously Alfa Romeo would probably, think that would be really good. But of course, that obviously does mean that he is the second Alfa Romeo driver, and obviously you'll have to find out where I put his teammate. So obviously, into the second part now, which is going from 15th position to 11th position. So I've got in 15th position Lance Stroll. 14th position is Antonio Giovinazzi, his teammate, obviously, of Kimi, with a 15th, 14th. 13th position, I was going to say Jose Perez, Jordan.
Ooh,
I was just about to say Jose Perez.
None of that language on day, please.
Sergio Perez, 12th place. No, wait there, have I done that right? So 15th Stroll, 14th Gasly, 13th. Yes, 12th place, Danny Kvyat, and 11th place his teammate Pierre Gasly.
Well, my next 5 goes like this. 15th place, Kevin Magnussen. 14th place, Kimi Räikkönen. 13th place, Pierre Gasly. OMG, Pierre Gasly. Dropping that in there straight away. 12th place, Antonio Giovinazzi. And 11th place, Esteban Ocon.
Well, so let me start with my 15th, Lance Stroll. Now, obviously he appears a good driver, but he has proven that he is good. Obviously, 3rd place in Baku, best performance. So yeah, I think that's going to be a good position for them. Racing Point mainly as a team you have to look at, because obviously Perez and Stroll, midfield drivers. Perez, one of the best midfield drivers you could say. it's how the team's going to get on. Are they going to have a good season? I'm going to say that they're going to be good. I'm going to say that they're going to be strong. You know, it seems like they've got everything together. Obviously, brought on Otmar Saf now. Obviously, as I say, the two drivers kind of settled in. Less pressures on Stroll or less kind of controversy about, European driver. That's leaving. It's slowly leaving, but it's leaving. And people are now focusing on Lance the driver. And obviously, less about Papa Stroll. It's all about, as I say, Lance the driver. So that's good. And obviously, I do like Lance. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Lance. So, I think Lance in 15th is good. Obviously, again, that means he's second out of the racing points, but not too bad for that. 14th place, Antonio Giovinazzi. Now, that would be an amazing finish for him. I mostly keep saying I have a soft spot for drivers, or I have a soft spot for all of them, apart from Latifi, obviously. No, but Giovinazzi, good driver. He's an Italian driver. He had the fight last year. I think Monza was one of his best races. Now, he is tipped to go forward in Formula 1 and, dare I say, the Ferrari seat? But there is a lot of light about Giovinazzi. He's not what he was this time last year, or even Silverstone last year. I remember, no offense, not to chuck you under the bus, Jordan, but I remember when we were, watching the drivers come in and you said, oh, no one's waving at Giovinazzi. And then a few races time, he changed that around, and then he finished the season on this, good, strong, solid guy who, again, like I just mentioned, Monza, he had his own support. He didn't have his own grandstand, but he had his own support. He lives in this northern region of Italy, I think it is, or that has like its own kind of mini flag, a bit like kind of a county flag or a state flag. And they brought him there, and he had his own fans and his support. And I was like, so there is people that do like him out there, because I can't remember that ever happening for like Liuzzi or anyone like that. Truly more Liuzzi with Liuzzi gear. So Antonio Giovinazzi, I do think he'll go far, and obviously beat Kimi, beat his old teammate, would be great to see. Obviously 13th position, Sergio Perez. Beating Lance Stroll, so a good position from him, showing that he is the stronger driver in Racing Point, which I do think he needs to do very, very fast. When they were formerly Force India, which is quite a long time ago now, I didn't even stumble in trying to say that.
Didn't. Well done.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. I was going to say, Alfa Tauri might stumble over that, but not Alfa Romeo. Not Racing Point Force India. That's all gone. That's sorted. So Racing Point, when they were formerly Force India, and even obviously when they were Racing Point, Perez was great, dominant over, Nico Hulkenberg and, Esteban Ocon and obviously even Lance Stroll. And now he just needs to continue that form. He's signed for another 3 years or 4 seasons even. And obviously his career, he's spent a lot of time in Formula 1 kind of humming and hawing, obviously going from McLaren, leaving McLaren, and obviously going to Force India, and obviously being there for the foreseeable future until now. So he needs to prove that he is just the ultimate better driver and kind of make the team his home, because obviously that's his home for the next 4 seasons. His teammate is the owner. I mean, what a better way to kind of show him up. That would drive me even more to know that, like my teammate's dad owns a team, but yet I'm the better driver. That would drive me so much. So obviously, I think I hope that Perez is driving force. 12th place, Danny Kvyat, obviously the first AlphaTauri driver, which I think has a nice ring to it, but Alphas, oh my god. Because we can't say that anymore, guys. Like, how we refer them as the 2 Alphas? We can't do that anymore, can we? Nope. Because it's like the 2 Alphas, so we've got 4 to choose from. Like, come on. The Tories, the 2 Tories, the 2 Romeos. Anyways, so Pierre Gasly, obviously, Danny Kvyat, the driver who is being behind in the trading places, obviously demoted in 2016, stayed behind when all that Gasly, Albon, malarkey was going on. The man who he knew Toro Rosso was Alpha Tauri was his home, and knew that when Dietrich Mateschitz, he kind of said that the Alpha Tauri drivers down. He went, look, all right, you're going to stay at the team for the end of 2019. You're going to stay for 2020. You have the chance to get back to Red Bull in 2021. Obviously, Albon's not signed. He's only signed at the end of this year. Obviously, Verstappen's signed till 2023. So you'd be taking Albon's seat. There's a possibility you could still go there, because obviously if you remember 2019 was still Albon's kind of probationary period. Obviously he's now filled that and he's staying for this year, but I think Albon's still on the fence a little bit. That's how Red Bull seems to work if your name's not Max Verstappen. So Kvyat still has a chance to get back to Red Bull, and that's what you need to do. All fire guns blazing. He is a good driver. People still hold a torch for him. And to be honest, to kind of still have a hope for Kvyat, it takes a lot of kind of support within, I think, for him. Because he has kind of been like chucked around a little bit. Maybe kind of the I know he's not really been treated very well by Formula One in the last few years, but he has a chance to go back to Red Bull. I think it's like it's like the hare leading the dog around a dog track. If you just dangle Red Bull in front of him for the entire season, I think you could get a good drive out of him. And that's the same for 11th place Pierre Gasly, the man who, to be honest, we all thought was going to crumble after he left Red Bull. So Belgium onwards, back to Toro Rosso, back to your old seat. We all thought he was going to crumble, or a lot of people did. I still had hope. I still have his shirt, for example. And he hasn't done that. He has really, really performed to an amazing a good standard in the World Championship as well. Obviously, still holding on to his good hold of points from the Red Bull days. Obviously, bringing the fight to Sainz and Co in the final race. So both of them still within a sight of Red Bull, and I think, Jordan, that's going to be the main thing about this year. And we're going to keep saying that. We're going to keep saying, Fiat and Gasly. They're fighting for themselves, of course, in AlphaTauri, but they're fighting to get back to Red Bull. And again, when we get to Albon later on in the episode, he is not out of the woods, and Red Bull is still not 100% finished. It's exciting because it's kind of like this is a train place as Mark III in the making, and it's kind of like, who are you putting your bets on? It's like who's going to score, left or right, or is it going to be no goal? Is it going to be a draw? Are you putting your money on Fiat? Are you putting your money on Gasly? Or are you putting your money on no one goes? It's a draw. Albon stays. It's exciting. And yeah, I mean, I think that's their whole story for this year. And they're going to fight so hard for next year that they'll actually do well themselves this year. And obviously in terms of AlphaTauri's car, I think it will be good. Obviously Honda engine, they've been with them for a few years now. So I think midfield, but yeah, with that goal of obviously becoming the sister team like normal and obviously trying to get to Red Bull.
So, my reasons for having my drivers in 15th to 11th place, of course, I've gone with 15th place, a little bit of a lisp there, Kevin Magnussen in 15th place. Haas, like I said, struggled in 2019. I'm expecting some sort of improvement, not drastic improvement. I'm not expecting drastic improvements from anybody in 2020 because of obviously 2021 regulations. A lot of teams, especially the midfield teams, are going to be having one eye on them regulations, so not much development is going to be happening in 2020, and I'm expecting one of those teams to be Haas. Of course, I think Haas the perfect opportunity to push up the grid, challenge for P4 again like they did in 2018, is to push on and hopefully do well for 2021. Kevin Magnussen, of course, in my opinion, despite where he finishes, whether that is 15th, higher or lower, will be, apart from if he finishes last, will be ahead of Romain Grosjean. Again, no disrespect to Grosjean fans. I just think that K-Mag, he is the better driver out of the team. There's no question about it. And for me, K-Mag, he is a good driver, of course, that requires improvement. Can't see him doing anything spectacular in 2020 at this moment in time. I can't see him doing anything spectacular in the future. Again, that might annoy some K-Mag fans, but that's just my opinion. Of course, you guys might think differently. K-Mag, yeah, bang average driver in my opinion. He's okay, yeah, but he's not terrible. 2020, yeah, there's not really much to say on that position. So yeah, it is quite difficult to predict these predictions, especially how tight the midfield is. You literally just got to sneeze and just go, right, okay. Drivers everywhere. Okay, that's a position. They're the positions. Let's just run with it. In 14th place, I've gone with Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi definitely 100% heading into his final year in Formula One. I just know it. I've said this for 3 years, but I know it. All right, guys, trust me. Of course, Kimi Räikkönen brings some amazing, needed experience for a team like Alfa Romeo, of course. Now Alfa Romeo All-N, I must add. But again, we're not going to be using the All-N name because that's just silly. So yeah, Kimi had an alright 2019. Started off the year well, ended it alright. But still, Raikkonen is very consistent, quick. Like I said, a very helpful driver in that team, and he will help Alfa Romeo push them on into the next set of regulation changes. But like I said, Kimi Räikkönen will not be there beyond 2021, so I definitely think he'll be sacrificing, if needed, a lot of races for his teammate Antonio Giovinazzi, who might have a good future ahead of him if he has a really, really good season, which again, I'll explain my reasons a little bit later on. 13th place, I've gone with Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. Pierre Gasly, what a rocky 2019 he had. Red Bull driver at the start of the year, Toro Rosso last year, driver at the end of the year. Got a podium in Brazil. Brilliant job from Pierre Gasly. Certainly found his form again when he went back to Toro Rosso, compared to what he was at Red Bull. And then all of a sudden this has resurfaced again about, Gasly could go back to Red Bull, blah, 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 blah. So let's see how he does in 2020 first. Is he going to have a year like 2019? No. He challenged for that P6. He was going for that position for the majority of the season. He was already there to begin with. Lost out to the place on the final race of the season. Unlucky, but hey, Carlos Sainz, smooth operator. Thank you very much, son. And of course, one of the reasons. Well, I'll explain that. I'll explain that when I get to McLaren, actually. But no, Pierre Gasly, he knows that there is still that option of, if Albon doesn't perform, there is that chance of a Red Bull seat, or even if not in 2021, potentially in the future, if, and a big if, the likes of, let's say, Mercedes or even Ferrari snap up Verstappen or Albon, who knows, then of course the seat will become available. Red Bull still have got a couple of years left before they could really throw in a younger development driver again into the team. So certainly I'm expecting maybe Gasly and Kvyat to stick around for a year, another year in 2021 perhaps. But no, I think Gasly, 13th place for me would be pretty bang average. Happy with that. Of course, nowhere near the heights of last year, but AlphaTauri won't be as good as what Red Bull will be in 2020. 12th place, Antonio Giovinazzi. Now, you could say that this is a bold prediction. Giovinazzi finishing ahead of Kimi Räikkönen. Giovinazzi started the year off very slow, very poor, let's say. Not really doing anything impressive. And even I said about halfway through the season, I can't see him being there next year with the way he's going, especially with all this new young talent coming through the ranks. I'm assuming that Alfa Romeo would have gambled on one of those. But no, he found his form, of course, did some really, really impressive races, Italy being one of them, on par with Raikkonen, more or less, majority of the season towards the end. Spa, I think he said Spa was, he thought he had thrown away his 2020 seat, got it back eventually. That was, absolutely solid job from Giovinazzi. I do like him. I don't rate him, he's absolutely amazing or whatever, but certainly he's all right, of course. And there is that potential view that he could get a Ferrari seat. Yes, I've dropped the F-bomb, guys, and so did Lyle. We've dropped the F-bomb, the Ferrari seat. Giovinazzi will be linked with that seat, definitely. Will that pressure and the constant questions of him, are you going to Ferrari? What's the situation? What's happening? Will that get to him? Probably. But I could be wrong. But probably that might get to him. Maybe a bit of lack of performance or anything. But he knows that the Ferrari seat could be up for grabs. But of course he needs to concentrate on his current seat, because, like I said, look at F2. Look at Ferrari. Look at Ferrari's development driver ranks coming through. There's a lot of drivers there who could potentially fill not one but two Alfa Romeo seats in 2021. So Giovinazzi has got to improve and got to find his form and consistency in 2020. Otherwise, it is game over. And 11th place, I've gone with the man of the moment, let's say, in Esteban Ocon. Ocon having a year out, of course, we know this. Test driver at Mercedes in 2019. Replacing Nico Hülkenberg. A lot of fans are still not over that. Get over it. He's gone. Let's just move on, please. Ocon, this is a big year for Ocon, of course it is. A lot of people rated him when he was in Formula 1, next world champion. Oh my god, this guy's so quick. Other people, nah, bang average. No one special. Meh, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, he's okay, but he's not brilliant, like I said. I feel like I'm repeating myself when I'm saying that. I'm saying that about everyone. It's like, yeah, they're alright. They could be better. What do I know? But Ocon, he's got to have a really, really good 2020, to shut up the critics, just to get his head down. And of course, having a year out in Formula 1, very, very long time out. So let's see how he does. Brand new team, new start, on loan from Mercedes or whatever's going on with that. I really, really don't know. Of course, he will always be linked with that Mercedes seat. Potentially could, if he does do a solid job. I wouldn't see why not. But at this moment in time, I can't see him. He might get in that top 10, but it's going to be so close that I think he might just miss out. But we'll have to see how, of course, the Renault car is for 2020, because it was an absolute dog last year. So let's see if they can make any more improvements. And if so, maybe challenge for that top 10. So speaking of the top 10, here's my top 5, or the next 5, let's say, in my predictions. So I've gone with 10th place, Lando Norris. 9th place, Sergio Perez. 8th place, Daniel Ricciardo. 7th place, Carlos Sainz. And in 6th place, Alexander Albon.
In 10th place, I've got Daniel Ricciardo. 9th place, Lando Norris. 8th place, Carlos Sainz. 7th place, Esteban Ocon. And 6th place, Sebastian Vettel.
Ooh. That's going to ruffle a few feathers, that last one you said there, Lal, but let's wait for that.
It's the first big one. The first big name is in this
He's
pile.
dropped the SV bomb.
He's the best of like the second
Dropped a lot of
class.
bombs in this episode. Little Dan said, don't know what that was. So, yes, my top 10. Lando Norris in P10. Norris, solid debut season in Formula 1. Found his form, found his feet throughout the majority of the season. You know, making people laugh on the track, off the track. What a nice guy he is. Such a breath of fresh air. A fresher breath air, I was going to say there. Weird. Yeah, you know, he certainly he's got a lot of fans behind him, definitely, and I'm one of them, being a McLaren fan, of course, as you can clearly see. You know, I'm expecting better things, certainly better things in 2020. Again, depending on how the car is. If it is anything like it was last year and a bit of like a slight improvement, certainly he should be looking for that top 10, minimum top 10 at least. Of course, finished in P11, I think he did last year. So, certainly P10 should be the minimum requirement, and I think he will just get there ahead of Esteban Ocon. Again, bold one you could say, but I think McLaren are going to be a bit stronger. Norris might be a bit quicker than Ocon. Let's see what you guys think. But no, I'm expecting good things from Lando Norris. P9, Sergio Perez. I did originally have him higher, but I put him a lot down because of a couple of other drivers. Perez, I think Racing Point are going to have a really solid, improved year. Certainly a lot. They're going to be much better than what they were in 2019. They've had a year of development, of course. The financial troubles are now gone. Lawrence Stroll pumping his money into the team. How long for remains to be known. But at this moment in time, it's still Racing Point. Lawrence Stroll is still the big boy at the team. He's got his son there, of course. Yeah, and of course, who knows what the future holds for the team. Perez, top 10 easily, top 10. Best of the rest, it could go either way. Like I said, just a sneeze and just see where everyone ends up. And for me, Perez, consistent, really, really good driver. Strong. He can get the points when it really matters. He has his moments, but certainly he's a quick, consistent, well-experienced driver now, so he's going to be bringing a lot of knowledge to the... Well, I say bringing, he's been there since 2014, so, you know, he basically runs the team. You know, he's like vice chairman to Lawrence Stroll, practically. That's how long he's been there for. But no, I think Perez will have a really good, solid year. 8th place, Daniel Ricciardo. He's also going to be linked with that red Ferrari seat. I know you said Red Bull seat there. Ferrari seat. It could be linked with Red Bull. Who knows? Yeah, that is going to be circulating all season long if Vettel doesn't announce anything for next season. So, again, will that hold Ricciardo back? No, I really, really don't think so. I think he'll thrive on it. But also, he'll know that he does have a shot, probably his last opportunity to be back at the front to drive for a team like Ferrari. He's been linked with them practically all of his career, more or less. And certainly he'll know that. So he's going to be hammer it, just doing what Daniel Rick does, making people smile and just people, you know, being all jokey. But when he gets on the track, he's just dead serious, dead aggressive, late braking, like, you know, last of the late breakers. I hope we see more of that in 2020. I hope Renault can produce a car that can allow Ricciardo to do that. Definitely finishing ahead of Esteban Ocon in the Renault teammate battle, without a shadow of a doubt. He should be doing that at least. But certainly he will be looking for improvements. I can't see it being anything drastic for Renault. Whether he believes in the 2021 project remains to be seen. He could stay there for another year. He might jump ship to maybe another team. Go back to Red Bull, perhaps go to Ferrari. Let's see how it goes. Could go to McLaren. I'll be up for that. I doubt it, but we'll have to see how it goes first. 7th place, Carlos Sainz, the smooth operator. Carlos Sainz getting in the top 6 as well in the McLaren. Brilliant job. Most that was down to what was going on with Red Bull, and of course with the driver transfers, Gasly not performing, Albon playing catch up. So of course there was a high chance that, well, a better chance that Sainz was going to get that P6. He got it last day, of course, just kept it, brilliant. And yeah, I think he'll have a good solid job. 7th place is probably the best he could ask for. Again, if Red Bull crop up another situation like that, like what they had in 2019, maybe Sainz could creep in that top 6. But from what I'm saying, I'm seeing a bit of another big gap between P6 in P7, or like, you know, from the best of the rest till, you know, from the top teams. Not massive gap, but certainly a one where you're like, oh, that's still way too big. Because like I said, no one's going to be developing heavily in 2020. So Carlos Sainz, smooth operator in P7. P6, Alexander Albon for me, definitely without a shadow of a doubt. Alex Albon, debut season in Formula 1, Toro Rosso at Red Bull in a single season, impressed. First year at Red Bull, the first half of the year at Red Bull. This year is massive for him. He knows how strict and how harsh Helmut Marko can be. He's got to improve. He's got to be consistent. On par with Max, he's got to be challenging Max, not being lapped. He's got to challenge Max, of course. Put a little bit of pressure onto him, but I can't see like exactly Albon winning, you know, finishing ahead of Max. You know how Red Bull like to employ them team orders. Red Bull will want to try and push Max to become 2020 world champion, of course. So maybe that could hold back Albon a little bit, but certainly I think Albon is going to have certainly a strong first full year at Red Bull. And now when I say full year, I do mean he's not moving anywhere. Trust me. I hope Red Bull don't do, you know, lightning strike twice. I hope they don't do the same thing 2 years in a row. Please, Red Bull. If he has a bad year, bad start, give him the season. So Lyle, one thing that we need to know about when you get to that point. But first, explain your next five. I want to know about that P6. But yeah, explain your top five. Your next five.
Yeah, well, I bet you're excited. It's going to be a good one, but I'm surprised he didn't say Esteban Ocon. Why did he not catch you? I mean, he's pretty high up, one obviously down from Seb. But anyway, let's jump in with tennis players, Danny Rick. Now, I'm going to disagree with Jordan here. It is all to play for, but this is the year. So last year for Danny Rick, we weren't watching Danny Rick. Kind of like, who was Danny Rick? He said in a press conference, you know, midway through the season, right? I mean, it wasn't just then, obviously, but that's when I remember. He said, right, 2019, I'm with the team, I'm going to test the water, I'm going to dip my toe in. But next year, 2020, that's when I'm getting podiums. That's when I am, well, at least getting podium, probably the maximum is like third place, but getting on the podium, getting into the points, getting a strong result for Danny Rick, obviously because he was driving for Red Bull and he was winning there. So Danny Rick was just testing out in 2019. 2020 is where it's starting. We might see the smiles in Australia as his home race, but then after that, especially if it goes downhill, even if it's just going midway, we're going to see Danny Rick go. The smile's just going to literally deflate, and he's going to get more serious. And he is a serious driver on track, but he's going to get like to the point where, right, no fun and games anymore. I'm sorry, but I'm not all loosey-goosey anymore. And I'm not here just to make you laugh. I'm here to drive, to race. And we're going to see this very different side of Ricciardo, especially if it's not going very well. Obviously, if it is going well for him, you know, amazing. You know, and obviously he will be probably smiling away, but if it doesn't go well, he'll be focusing on that. And to be honest though, with Renault, I feel like he will be jittery. It won't be a good season for Danny. He'll be jumping. It's like if he was sitting here right now, he'd be twitching like mad. This season is going to be like, the car's not great. The people that are running the team aren't great. Obviously, getting Pat Fry on board is good. Obviously, he can definitely technical officer that used to be with McLaren, very good. Obviously, especially when he was with Ferrari. So getting him on board was good, but you know, not great. Obviously, Esteban Ocon's a new guy. They will be watching him, but it'll be jittery for him. And to be honest, Danny Rick's probably the only driver I'll be like, I don't want to be in this situation because I just know it's going to be a stressful year for him. And I'm excited to see what it's going to be doing. But I'll tell you what though, in 2019, I wasn't watching Danny Rick, but this year I am all but watching Danny Rick. I'm watching, that didn't make sense. I'm watching Danny Rick like so much. Like all the attention that he should have had from me in 2019, I'm watching in 2020. Because it's going to be such a good year for the Honey Badger this year. It's going to be good as in I'm going to watch him, but it's going to be hard and difficult and stressful for him. I wouldn't want to be him right now. But we'll have to see how he does. Obviously, really liked him at Red Bull. Ninth place is Lando Norris. Obviously, again, another very fun, smiley driver. If you watch the 24/7 news, obviously I was talking about him in the social media. Now, I don't think he has to get so serious, but maybe him kind of like being, you know, the forefront of jokes and buns like Baby Yoda and Milk all the time. Maybe that's just not like the Formula One force we should see. Because at the end of the day, if you're getting all this money and you're, you know, paying and all, it's like, I mean, like me and Jordan, you know, we've been in Newcastle games and seen our new players and old players and whatever, you know, run around for 90 minutes. And that's not what we want. It might be making us laugh. Like, I always remember Alexander Mitrovic. He did, like, we had a song for him and he would always, like, dance at the end of the games to it. And you'd think, right, well, at the start, you know, that's quite funny, that's good, you know. But then at the end of the day, like when he got towards the end, obviously he went down with us, he went down with us. And you saw that and you were like, this isn't getting funny anymore. This isn't funny because you're literally like wasting money, you're wasting time, you're wasting this position that could be filled with somebody else. And I'm not saying that Lando Norris is going to get replaced, don't get me wrong. I think he's a great driver and obviously he deserves to be there. But maybe this kind of seriousness needs to come out, especially when Carlos Sainz beats him. And also Lando Norris, I mean, we don't know fully because he hasn't come across yet as this fierce guy. But I think that it was killing him inside that Carlos Sainz actually beat him because he had no ties to McLaren before he came to McLaren. Lando Norris was brought up through McLaren, obviously through the McLaren program. So if anything, Lando Norris should have known more about McLaren and was an older guy to McLaren. So more fierce, more competition with Carlos Sainz. They were friends this year. Maybe they could be frenemies or friend-ish or basically a Mia Jordan relationship. And sitting on the fence, we'll work together. No, I'm only Jordan. Yes, we'll see what happens. And then, of course, obviously, the man of the hour, Carlos Sainz, one position down, beating Lando Norris. Now, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tense. I'm hoping that this is a rivalry. But let's say, though, because obviously Jordan's here and because we both like them two drivers and we like McLaren, let's say it's a fun relationship. Let's say it's Lewis and Nico when they were kids, maybe. Or like a Vettel, Webber, 2009, 2009, 2010 kind of relationship. Like fun, pushy around, bands. It's going to be that relationship. But obviously on track, when the helmets are down and you can't hear what I'm saying, that's when I'm going to be swearing at you and going hell for leather, trying to beat you, of course, because obviously that's what he wants to do. And Lando and Carlos had a bit of a big gap, bigger than normal, I would say, this year. Something that obviously Lando would not have wanted, as I've just said. So that is obviously 9th place for Lando Norris, 8th place for Carlos Sainz. Good for McLaren, obviously, and obviously progressive as the team goes on. Another year with Renault, obviously Zach Brown and obviously Andreas Seidel at the helm. Great guy. Did he win Team of the Year? I think he did. Driver of the Year last year even, sorry. So Boss of the Year even, not Driver of the Year, Boss of the Year. So excited to see what he can do. 7th place is Esteban Ocon. Now, I'm excited about this. I really do like Esteban Ocon. He's probably the last guy I'm going to say, right, I have a soft spot for him, okay? Because I can't have soft spots for everyone. Esteban Ocon had a year out, worked with Mercedes. I didn't think he deserved to be at Mercedes. He was always in the garage, well, not always, but it was a lot of time he was in the garage, sitting next to Toto Wolff and sitting at the back with his headset on, and he will have just been tapping his foot, going, do you know what, I'm a Formula 1 driver, I'm still young, I had a great season with McLaren, with Manor, 27 consecutive finishes, obviously that's down more of the car reliability, but still, obviously whooped Pascal Wehrlein, whooped expectations again, because when he came in, people were like, oh god, especially after we just saw Rio Haryanto, who he replaced, the Indonesian driver, kind of go, who is he, what's he doing here? So he didn't deserve to be at Mercedes, even though Toto Wolff came out in Melbourne and said, right, Ocon in that seat for 2020, Bottas wins. Ocon not in that seat for 2020. That is literally how it went. So damn you, Bottas, you cost Esteban Ocon that Mercedes. No, I'm joking, obviously, no, he didn't. He did not at all. Ocon was always going to go somewhere else and do a better job, and I'm glad that he's found this home. He's a French driver, he's at the French team, he's worked with Renault before in the young categories. I'm excited to see what he can do. It is a bit of a hunch because I don't really have much to go off on Ocon, but I do think that he will have a very standout season. Maybe he gets the car more, maybe because he's French, maybe just because, I don't know, it's Esteban Ocon. I do like him, and obviously had a great start to his Manor career last time we saw him out in Formula 1. Now, 6th place, okay, here is the big one. Sebastian Vettel. Now, I mean, I don't think that's too bad. We're getting close to the edge now, but Sebastian Vettel, I mean, to be honest, Jordan, the guy who I'm just going to say, right, he's at the top of he's at the ceiling, and he's just punching and he just can't get in to that kind of exclusive club. Now last year, oh god, when are we going to get to that point where we look at Sebastian and just go, what are you doing? It took him over a year. I actually said in the 2019 award show intro, it's taken a year, but it actually took longer than a year for not Ferrari, for Seb to win. Over a year, about just under 400 days, I think it was, between Belgium 18 and Singapore 19. It was massive. And for somebody like that, for a four-time world champion like him, it's just, I mean, come on, what's going on? Especially when he's like the Liverpool of being in Formula 1. It is my year. In anything worse than doing very well is terrible for Seb. I don't know what's going on. I really, really don't. I hope that this year he's either at the front in first place, or he's, I don't know. And this is definitely, of course, a big year because, as Jordan said, it is going to be any word on Sebastian Vettel, where he's going to go. It's looking like he isn't going to be re-signed, and obviously because there's a lot of people after his seat as well, which is another reason why obviously someone might not be re-signed. It might not just be because they're not good. It might be because there's people waiting behind him, like there is with him. Perez and Ricciardo, Giovinazzi possibly. But so Sebastian Vettel, it is a year to prove. And in my eyes, I just don't see him being that good. And obviously, when I get on to where his teammate is, it might be a bit of a shock and an indication of why I think that Seb, this is just not his year. But you'll have to wait and see. So the last stage of our predictions, of course, is 5th place to our 2020 World Champion. Now, Lewis Hamilton, of course, going for 7 next year. But there's all these fighters, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Sebastian, oh no wait, but not for me anyways. So let's find out what I have said. Now in 5th place I've gone with Alex Albon. 4th place I've gone with Max Verstappen. I'm getting slower now because it's tense now.
My seat.
So 4th place Verstappen. 3rd place Valtteri Bottas. And that leaves 2 drivers. So in 2nd
if this
place...
if this is Hamilton, triggered.
2nd place, Charles Leclerc. So of course, the world champion of 2020 is Lewis Hamilton. Of course. But Jordan, what is your 5th to
my 5th to first is this. This is my top 5, what I believe will be the top 5 for 2020. And I'm very confident with this. 5th place, Valtteri Bottas. 4th place, Sebastian Vettel. 3rd place, Charles Leclerc. So that just leaves 2 drivers. Verstappen or Hamilton. In 2nd place, I've gone with...
Oh my god, please don't say it.
It's happening, guys. It's happening. Max Verstappen in P2. I've got... You thought I was going to say Verstappen world champion.
You can't bluff. I wish we were playing cards right now because you have got a bad poker face.
Boosh. Lewis Hamilton, of course, is going to be, I believe, my 2020 world champion. Lyle, explain. Go for it. Your top 5.
Well, oh god, oh my god. Did you believe our comms?
No one did.
My god. To be honest with Jordan, I was believing yours. I've made
some risky predictions in the past, like Bottas for 2018 champion, for 2017 champion, and then Verstappen for 2018. Yes, I've made a couple of bold ones.
Yeah, exactly. Very. So yes, mine. 5th place, Alexander Albon. Very strong. I love Alexander Albon. I think he's so good. And the thing is, for me, I love, not just Formula 1 drivers, I love athletes with, personality, panache, this kind of just joke, not joke now, I didn't mean to say that, I mean, just fun. I love that about him. And Alexander Albon, somebody who doesn't look like he's fierce. But, that being said, though, if he isn't any great car, and to be honest, I think most of this might come from, obviously, how good the car's, obviously, not that one, that's 2019, but... How good the car will obviously be how he's done. I do agree with John for what he said, that he does need to bring the fight to Verstappen. And obviously, again, very much like the AlphaTauri drivers, obviously, who I will mention in a little bit. Like them, if Albon's not focusing on himself, he will be focusing on beating Verstappen, or matching Verstappen, actually beating him, as he'll say. And he'll be doing that so much, he will kind of lose track of where he is. And he will find himself just being, oh my god, I'm in 5th place right now. And he could be that point where he is close enough to Verstappen to take to the final round and things. I'm very confident about this. And I think it'll be a great position for Red Bull as well. That's definitely a solid... that even could be 2nd place in the Constructors. But I don't know. It depends, obviously, how everything plans out. I'm just saying 2nd and 6th for Ferrari, but obviously, that could be 2nd place for Red Bull, and that would be incredible. They would love that. We would love that. Sorry, we would love that. But with AlphaTauri, those 2 drivers fighting like hell to get to Red Bull. Albon, you are not safe. he's got to go through the full season knowing that he's not safe. And obviously, yes, he is contracted, but contracts can be broken, as we know. We've seen that many times. It's all news now. So they can be broken. If anything, we could see trading plates this year. Very unlikely. I'm not putting my money on that. But for 2021, we could see a Verstappen Fiat or a Verstappen Gasly, which I'm not telling you what I'm saying because I could see any of them. But Gasly has got a chance, but as I say, Kvyat's got a chance and Albon's got a chance. They're all still in that bucket. Just one of them has stepped up to bat, like at a time, and Albon has stepped up to bat. He's done a home run and he's safe, so they've played him for a few more times. And obviously Verstappen is just like the umpire, and he's not going to leave. He's stealing second as a baseball reference like that. So anyway, yes. So Alexander Albon, of course, 5th place, safe but not safe, challenging but still not safe. And as I say, I hope that he feels the pressure this year, because more pressure could equal better results, and I'm very excited about that. And obviously those two partnership, love that for my team this year. Now 4th place, Max Verstappen, his teammate. Now a lot of people will not be very happy about that. I'm a Verstappen fan, of course, obviously two posters Verstappen, but I'm realistic, and also as well, of course, obviously these are like team based. So if Mercedes aren't good, Hamilton isn't going to win. Same with Ferrari and Red Bull. Red Bull, possibly the 3rd best team, but challenging for 2nd. They've got a good lineup, but so have Ferrari. It's a big battle, and who's going to show their ace first? And they have sandwiched the Ferraris, or the Red Bulls are sandwiched in between the Ferraris, so a good position from them. Verstappen, good, definitely some good wins, hopefully this year. Austria, of course. We'll have to see what happens in Zandvoort. But yeah, Verstappen just not seeing that he'll get into that top 3 and challenge for 2 main reasons. One, because the hype, I'm not saying he'll feel the hype, but the hype that we all give him possibly could be a little bit faded. And of course the second reason is those 3 drivers ahead of him. Love those drivers. Charles Leclerc, so strong, Lewis Hamilton on another level, and Valtteri Bottas is the main one. Of all these people that I've seen do predictions, and obviously here in Jordan's as well, Bottas is so far out, but he's in a Mercedes car. You can't forget that. And it could be another one too, and it is going to be another one too. And the thing is, we didn't do this show, Jordan, back in the Webber and Vettel days. And very much like me, who is a Webber fan, there'll be Bottas fans out there who will like Hamilton, and I'll like Vettel because he was the leader of the team, but like the second driver. And you might have put Webber, actually you probably people did back then, they probably put, even though they put Vettel in first, they probably put Webber back in 6th because they didn't like him, or they didn't think he was good enough.
Maybe.
And I'd be like, no, 2nd place. 2nd. Sitting with Bottas. So obviously Bottas strong in P3. For Bottas, he's in a Mercedes car for sure. No reason why he wouldn't be. Strong start of the season. How about that? That's how it went. How about that? That's how his season went. Lewis was just too far to catch, but he was in 2nd place, and there was a chance in Mexico, and his best race for sure, probably the best race of his career, the USA. Incredible. He did the best position he could to stop Lewis winning the championship. Yes, Lewis needed a very easy 3rd, I think it was, and obviously Bottas had to win, but Bottas won. That was the best he could do. Obviously, you can only do the best you can do. Bottas did the best he could do. So obviously good from him. Yeah, loving what he'll do next year. Charles Leclerc in 2nd place. So Charles Leclerc, incredible, really great guy. He is the rival of Red Bull, of course, but he is a great guy, and he's so strong, so humble from where he comes from. 7 pole positions. Amazing back-to-back wins that he had, obviously, in Belgium and Singapore. Belgium and Italy. Of course, Belgium doing it in the wake of his friend passing away. Even things like that just add more humility and more kind of. He is a strong, mature driver. I love what he's doing. The maturity, I know that just sounds like a word, but that to me is very important, kind of where we are right now, because the maturity is like he's more mature than Sebastian. That's what I'm saying. So Sebastian finds the heat from Ferrari midway through the season, chokes a little bit, but Charles Leclerc doesn't. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping. It's very strong from him. He looks like he's someone who's bold and will make a statement out of the get-go. But obviously we'll have to wait and see. But splitting the Mercedes is obviously what Ferrari would love to see. They will love Leclerc for that, possibly hate Vettel, but we'll have to see about that. And then of course Lewis Hamilton as world champion. Probably the same as Jordan as well, and everyone out there. It's 7. It's over 91 wins. And he will become the greatest of all time in Formula 1. on paper, and like I said about the goals and all that, at the end of the day, that's what we all count. Yeah. Lewis Hamilton, there will be Lewis Hamilton haters out there after he wins his 91st win or 92nd win, and then when he gets to 7, they'll be hate. But it doesn't matter about all that, and of course I know all of you guys have different views about who is the greatest driver, and of course we all respect them because they are the best for different reasons. Ayrton Senna, of course, Jim Clark for Jordan, and we obviously Michael Schumacher, of course, we all respect them because they were great drivers. But on paper, it will be Lewis Hamilton. That's what he'll be chasing. Mercedes, of course, will give all their resources to Lewis Hamilton, but I feel like they won't leave Bottas in the dark. Which, again, a lot of people have been saying they're going to leave Bottas in the dark because they're going to get, it's like 100% of everything is going to go to Hamilton. And then obviously, of course, that leaves nothing, mathematicians, out there for Bottas. I don't agree with that. It might be like 90-10, but still, I think that 10% would be good enough for Bottas to work with. And if that's the case, in my mind, I'll be sitting here going, Bottas is in contention for Driver of the Year because 10% of Mercedes resources, 10% of like Toto Wolff's time, for example, and that's what he can pull out of the bag. So there we go, that's my top 20, and of course Lewis Hamilton is your 2020 World Champion. So Jordan, of course, 7 for you, don't know about the wins, but 7. Lewis Hamilton will be the greatest of all time, but a different road to 5, and of course the Dutchman in second place. So explain your top 5, and obviously why you put Lewis as champion.
Obviously we could have went for someone completely different to like spice things up in the predictions, but of course, I think it's pretty obvious. So P5, I've gone with Valtteri Bottas. Now, when I didn't tell, obviously me and Lyle, we don't tell our predictions at any given point, but I gave kind of a sneak preview to this one to Lyle when we last met up. And the reason why I'm putting Bottas in P5 is because I think he's going to have an absolutely shocking 2018-esque season. I think I could be. This is like a gamble for me. I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen. I've just got a funny feeling. Bottas could easily still get P2 because, like you said, Lyle, he is in a Mercedes, and Mercedes, quite frankly, have the best car, of course. And why should anything change? From 2019 into 2020. So but I could get this totally wrong. But the thing why I'm guessing Bottas is going to be in P5 is Mercedes will be throwing everything that they can at Hamilton to win that World Championship, to become 7-time World Champion, to match Michael Schumacher, to do it with their team in their car at that moment. They're going to be throwing everything at it. He will get, obviously, winning the World Championship like I predicted, and of course, on the road to that, he will beat Schumacher's 91 race wins along the way. That's another prediction I'm going with, and of course, beat him on the podiums. And then, who knows what else he could do after that. He's done it. He's achieved. Wow. This is incredible what we are witnessing here. But anyways, and I think in a lot of those situations, I think maybe development, maybe racecraft, maybe strategy could be not in Bottas's favour. Because, like I said, Mercedes are going to be so with Hamilton to get this 7 that I think most of the races, they will forget about Bottas. Like what Ferrari did in 2019 with Charles on some occasions, just left him out to dry. They might do that with Valtteri Bottas. But like I said, I could be totally wrong with this. Mercedes might just say, right, okay, we want the constructors again. We want 7-7. So, of course, we'll back Bottas. But certainly more attention will be on Hamilton purely because he's going for the record. If he wasn't going for the record, I would probably predict Bottas a bit higher. But because he's going for the record, he could finish lower. He could finish higher, but not as high as what he did. He could finish in P4, maybe even P3, and he'd still be jeopardised by Hamilton's charge for 7. But I think P5, that's what it just sounds in my mind. It just sounds right, but of course you guys might be very much against me with that, which of course I respect. The next two, I'll talk about the Ferraris together. Vettel P4, Charles in P3. Vettel. Well, first of all, let's talk about Ferrari. Ferrari are now saying in the media that the car isn't nowhere near as good as what they thought. The aero, the car in the wind tunnel isn't really good. The engineers aren't happy. In my opinion, I'm taking that with a big pinch of salt. I really, really am. I'm not going off it yet, and I'm not going off testing at any given point. Even if Ferrari are 10 seconds faster, or Mercedes, or McLaren, or whoever, are 10 seconds faster than anybody else, I'm not going off it. I'm just going to be waiting until FP1, FP2, and 3. Actually, No, in qualifying. I think qualifying is probably the best chance to really see the cars in full race mode, full at the quickest. So probably not until qualifying will I just be taking that with a pinch of salt, unless they are like last place and like 10 seconds behind, possibly. But of course, there is still time to develop the car should these these statements be true. But in my opinion, I'm not buying it. I really am not. I'm not going to be buying anything from testing. So for me, Vettel P4. 1-2 win perhaps, but again, it's a shame that Vettel is like we've gone down to this for Sebastian Vettel, because he is a good driver, of course he is. He has his moments where he just seems to like be so under pressure that he just loses it, and it's so like Vettel man, like what you doing? Like I mean, we're seeing that especially in Bahrain. I was like, here we are, Vettel's back battling with Lewis Hamilton. This is what I want to see, and he spun. I'm like, oh for God's sake, like really? Are we still here? So we might still get that with Sebastian Vettel. He might have one eye on retirement. I dropped the R bomb in there, the retirement bomb. Whether he will or not, I really don't know. He's still undecided with his future, so he might want to stay with the team. He might be negotiating a contract. He might have his eye on a different team. He might just walk away from the sport and just be a family man. You go, right, I've got my 4 world titles. I've had my chance at Ferrari. They're batting Leclerc. Why should I be here? Let's go, boys. So yeah. P4 is probably the best I can hope for Sebastian. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he can challenge for the title. But with all the eggs in Charles's basket at the moment, I think for me Charles, he is the quicker driver. Yes, he might. Again, people might be like, I really don't know. But off some performances last season, for me Charles did a better job. On some tracks, Seb did a better job. Like in Singapore, Seb was brilliant, and Seb was brilliant in Canada. Of course, what happened, and he didn't get the race win. But still, Seb had some really good races. I just think in some cases Charles was just better, in my opinion. Ferrari got the strategy wrong. They need to get that act together. If Charles does want to pursue the top 3, which I think he can do easily, if the car's right, of course. But Charles, he's got that future secured till 2024. He hasn't got the pressure of performing any like ridiculous like amounts just to keep that seat. He's got that seat guaranteed, unless he has absolutely abysmal form, which I really doubt it. So yeah, he's going to be calm and secure. He's going to be focused on the job in hand, and I think P3, why not? Let's just see more wins. Definitely, I'm hoping for another Italian Grand Prix win, because that was just brilliant to see. I'm going to guess about 3-4 wins perhaps for Charles this year. Maybe more. Who knows? But maybe less. Let's see how good the car is first. But certainly, I would say Charles is in for a good solid year. In second place, Max Verstappen. Verstappen, it's going to be a big year for Max. Red Bull will be trying to go for that title. Honda having a really good, strong first year with Red Bull. The car itself was okay, all right, perhaps could be better in some places. Red Bull need to push on development, because Red Bull for me have been like just in the same place for about 5 years now, and they're going nowhere. It's like the wheels are spinning. Like it's looking good, but the wheels are just spinning. They're not moving anywhere. They have to go like. I mean, the 2020 might not be the year, but 2021 should be the year where Red Bull are back at the front, constantly every single race, challenging for the race win. 2020, like I said, they'll be back Max to win the championship, and Max should continue this good form from 2019 into 2020, because the past couple of years he hasn't really been doing that well. He's been, like I said, immature moments where like you just think, oh, for God's sake, Max, surely you've been in F1 now for about 4 or 5 years at this point. He's obviously coming into his 6th year in Formula 1 now, so he's got the experience behind him, so there's no excuse anymore that saying, oh, but he's only 22. Yeah, but he's got 6 years behind him, so there is no excuse. He's got the experience, so that should be, like I said, should be hopefully going for that title. I think he might have a little sniff, but that sniff will just turn into nothing, because Hamilton is going to become 2020 world champion. Not much to say on Hamilton, but other than, will it be another Mercedes dominant year? Maybe on some parts. I don't think that Mercedes will have a better start to what they did last year. I think Hamilton always seems to do better in the second half of the season. So I'm predicting a mixture first half season. So maybe Max 1 win, Charles win, Hamilton win, Charles, Lewis, Max, that type of thing. Then about Belgium, Italy time, Lewis, take over, beat the record, secure that title very early on. Happy days. What will he do beyond 2021? Of course, there's talk that he's going to sign a 2-year deal. Very, very likely now that Max has now secured a Red Bull. So I believe Hamilton will sign that deal. Mercedes leaving Formula 1. I really doubt it. I can't see it happening. But yeah, that's my top 5. So Hamilton for world champion again. Boring prediction. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, that's just how I think. That's what I believe will actually happen. And of course, a lot of people are saying Hamilton for champion and Latifi to finish in last place. But just quickly, one of the last things, of the episode, we did say earlier that we are going to make our bold predictions. I'm not going to go into detail, but first of all, I'll give my bold prediction. Lyle will read his, and then I'll read out some of your guys' bold predictions. Lyle will read out some of his bold predictions. So my bold prediction for 2020 is this. Are you ready, guys? Are you ready? McLaren to win a Grand Prix. That's my bold prediction.
God.
Now, I'm not talking like a totally dominant display. Like McLaren turn up and they've just fastest in every session. I'm talking where there's carnage at the front. A track maybe like Hungary, Singapore, Monaco perhaps. Monaco could be a good shout. Where there's just carnage at the front, wet race, there's just mayhem. A Germany-esque type race. Maybe not as dramatic. But I think McLaren, hopefully, being like the next best team from the top 6, can creep their way into that top whatever, and snatch a dramatic late race win. First one since Brazil 2012. Come on, boys, we can do it. We can do it. Lyle, what's your bold prediction for 2020?
My bold prediction is, now I've gone with a bit of it might not sound very entertaining, but it will be, because obviously we haven't seen one of them in a long time. I'm going to say that, so I've put Verstappen in 4th place. You might be thinking that's very low, but I'm going to say though that there is going to be a 4-way fight at the last round in Abu Dhabi. So that means Verstappen, Bottas, Leclerc and Hamilton are all within a shout of winning the World Championship. So obviously that means even if Verstappen was 24 points away and it was looking so slim, there would still be a fight. And obviously we haven't had one of them in years. I mean, like the last time we were contesting that, I mean, can't remember, 2016 maybe with Rosberg. I think it was actually 2016, the last race where we were all battling. Obviously, so we want one of them. We don't want a dominant year by Hamilton. Obviously, I've said Hamilton will come out ahead because it is Hamilton at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm thinking it'll be a close fight, and then obviously that means that it will be a very close year because obviously they have to have all had a good few races, wins, and good points, finishes, and battles to get to that position. So yes, there we go. That's my 4-way fight in Abu Dhabi. So Jordan, what was some of our fans' bold predictions?
Our bold predictions. Well, first of all, I'll read out Jonty of Jonty's Corner, of course, who streams with the F1 Word. He also said McLaren win a race, so I'm going in with him on that. At Kirill said Russell will fight for a podium, crying emoji faces. I'm putting that one in there because I did find this funny. And of course, thank you to everyone who obviously told us their bold predictions. I'm only picking out a certain few. Some of the boldest that we've gone for here. At F1 Fanatics Mark, thank you for watching, Mark. Lance Stroll will finish above Lando Norris. That's a bold prediction, guys. No. That's very bold.
That's a no.
And finally, for me, Nighthawk 178 says Ferrari with the constructors' title. Again, very, very bold prediction.
Right, well, at Taki Andreas has said that Albon will go back to AlphaTauri. He said Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri probably means. So yes, obviously, as I just said, their 3-way fight still not done. Now, Ramos Vestergaard, probably Dutch, said Norris will get a podium during the season. And he's also added another one on, which says that Vettel will win the Australian Grand Prix. Now, Vettel has always had strong starts at the Aussie Grand Prix. We'll see what can happen this year. At Awesome B King 98 said at least 4 races will be won by the driver/team who consider it to be their home race. So, for example, I think that means that Max Verstappen, of course, will win the Dutch Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton will win the British Grand Prix. Obviously, home races, Sebastian Vettel, German Grand Prix. What else is out there? The French Grand Prix.
Grosjean?
Gasly, for example. Grosjean. We'll have to see. And obviously, finally, at Aaron21296 says Leclerc world champion. You heard it here first.
That it.
So there we go. Charles Leclerc will be world champion. That is a very...
That's
close.
That's bold.
That's good. But obviously, that's what I said. 4-way fight, Abu Dhabi. Leclerc is in with an earshot of that. So we'll have to see. Obviously, as John said, thank you very much for everyone who has sent the ball predictions in via our Twitter. If you haven't already, please go and follow us on Twitter. Our ad is on screen right now.
And of course, Lyle, before we end, you wanted to give a quick shout out?
Oh yes, of course. Dear friends watching, of course, shout out to Annette Carter. It was her birthday a few days ago, so obviously happy birthday for that. When I went to Singapore in 2018, they were there. Obviously, long family friends. Had a good time with them. She's a Lewis Hamilton fan. They've got the flag there, which is from 2014 when he became world champion for the second time. They got it signed as well by the great man, I think a year after in Abu Dhabi. So yeah, so happy birthday, Annette. Hope you had a great day. And obviously, yeah, let's see what it can do this year. Well, actually, we know what we can do this year because you've already told you. Lewis, world champion, both ways. And obviously, yeah, thank you very much for sending everything in this episode. Make sure you leave your predictions down in the comment section below. Obviously, I agree with Jordan. Love doing this episode, Jordan. Great way to kick off the 2020
It is.
season.
I mean, I do love doing predictions as well. Just before pre-season begins, brings up that the hype again, doesn't it? That F1 is nearly back. Car launches in a few weeks. Again, we'll be covering them as quickly as we can, of course. And then, of course, F1 Debate Show is back every Saturday at 6 p.m. UK time. Back every single week. F1 News as well. F1 24/7 News every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Come and join us there. Can't wait for that. Of course, with the week's news in Formula 1, of course, news, of course. And then when we come back, when the racing comes back, race previews, race reviews. Prediction League is going to be returning. Of course, a few improvements, but of course we'll be letting you guys know what those improvements are and those the updates, let's say, in probably after pre-season testing we'll probably announce those. And of course F1 YouTube's Decoded will be coming back for season 2. Can't wait for all things to come out in 2020. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Of course, comment below your predictions as well. Give us a like as well if you did enjoy this video, and of course predictions. Thank you so much everyone send us in their ball predictions as well. Thank you, obviously massively appreciate it. Love interacting with you guys on Twitter. Social media's down below. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.
See you later, guys.